Coach, I want to get to some college questions, but I want to ask you one Eagle question here because obviously our fan base is in Philadelphia here. This is what I say about Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen is in the category of a Colin Kaepernick, and if you're comfortable with that style, you can get to a Super Bowl and you can compete for one. But if you're looking to take advantage of today's NFL rules, pass interference down the field, it's a passing game, targeting rules, don't hit the quarterback, you got to win from the pocket, Coach. And to me, a guy like Hurts, as talented as an athlete, as great a guy you and I have talked about in the past, that's all great. I'm actually hearing the reverse. Hey, man, there's people politicianing for Garoppolo to actually keep the job in San Francisco because he's 36-14. You're going to get rid of that? Good luck to you, man. Good luck to you. You're going to go to a guy because you gave up all those assets. You're going to get rid of a guy who's won 36-16, been to 2 NFC championship games in 3 years and went to a Super Bowl and won a conference title. You better be right. Kyle Shanahan's reputation is on it. My next guy knows how important that decision is at quarterback. Let's bring in our friend Coach Wannstedt from Fox Sports. Coach, would you agree all the years that you were a head coach in the NFL, the number one decision every year you had to make was what was right at that position, the quarterback position? When you guys got to Dallas, you had Troy there. Troy had just gotten there. You guys drafted him, but you knew it was going to be Troy, but you didn't deviate. And our guy, Steve Walsh, you guys used as assets to get more draft choices. How important is that, Coach, to understand that that position has to be addressed every single time?
Well, it's critical, Danny, and I'm probably the wrong guy to be an expert on quarterbacks. I had 6 different starters in 6 years at the Bears. So I'm definitely – and Steve Walsh was the one quarterback that we went and won a playoff game on the road up at Minnesota. He was our quarterback. But, no, what you're saying is 100% true. I think, Kyle Shanahan is as respected as any coach in the league, just like you said. But it comes a point where you've got to take it to the next level. And pretty soon, the clock is running. You hate to say that about anybody. So the thing that makes this a little bit tricky, or trickier, we might say, than maybe some jobs, if you go in as a first-year head coach, when I went to the Dolphins, we scarred the thing. Danny Marino was at the end of his career. And we thought that with the offense that we were going to run, Jay Fiedler with Chan Gailey was my offense coordinator, that he gave us the best chance, but we had to do something at quarterback. So we signed Jay and won 10 games a year for 4 years. So, I mean, you got to make that decision early. Now here San Francisco sits, and it's not it's the honeymoon's over. I mean, this is, everyone expects not just division titles, Super Bowls. So, boy, I don't know. I agree with you. There's not much conversation out of there. I do think there might be something off with Jimmy G. Whether it's injury, whatever it is, there's something that we don't know. But I think there's something that we don't know with Trey Lance also. This is a critical decision. You're better with 2 maybe than you are with 1 if it doesn't work out. So I think Kyle, I know the trade rumors are hot, but I'd be careful of getting rid of a player that has won games for you in the past. I really would.
Coach, I'm going to say something here, and please tell me if you disagree. I think you got a bum deal as a coach in the NFL, and I'm going to tell you why. The Bears haven't had an all-pro quarterback since Sid Luckman, and that's back in the 50s. The Dolphins are still searching for a quarterback since Dan Marino and when you and Jimmy were there. You're at the 2 places that have never been able to develop quarterbacks. I don't know what happened, why the Bears can't do it. They develop every other position, O-line, defensive pass rushers, secondary guys, even Allen Robinson last year with the wide receiver position. Coach, why do some organizations struggle so much at that position?
Well, I mean, I got to take some responsibility for that because the head coach is involved in all those decisions. There's no question about it. I think this is going to be, you mentioned the Bears, and I got to say this because I do a lot of Bears work during the week here, radio and TV. So I'm pretty close to that situation. And I think I speak for all Bears fans that we're going to find out about Justin Fields this year. I mean, they hired a defensive head coach, as we know. They're going to play defense. The offensive coaches that they hired, I know all these guys personally. They are going to run the football. They understand how to run the football, and the head coach being defense understands the importance. My point is this, that the Bears are going to run a quarterback-friendly offense. So it's going to give Justin Fields the best opportunity to be successful. And we're all hopeful that he's the guy for the long term. But we're going to find out this year.
Do they want to run the same type of offense in Chicago that they run in Philly? And the fact that it's a run-dominant offense. And, again, Coach, when you have players like Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts, the key to me is first and second down. You can't be third and long and behind the sticks if you've got those type of quarterbacks, because they're never going to throw you out of trouble. Joe Burrow and guys like Justin Herbert, those guys can get down 14 and come back and win games. Bears and the Eagles, they get up 10 points. Somebody gets 10 points up on them. You're not coming back because there's no comeback capabilities. Is that kind of what you're seeing in Chicago? They want to resemble that a little?
Well, I believe so. I mean, I think when you look at, Matt Eberflus, the new head coach, he comes from Indy, where the run was the focus, obviously, with Jonathan Taylor down there with the Colts. And so the Bears got this David Montgomery. I think he's a better player than what anybody really realizes. I think this guy is really good. The tailback that they got out of Iowa State about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And they got a good young offensive line. I kind of like the Bears. I mean, the problem is, Danny, and this is that everybody else is getting better. I think that Minnesota this year could really take a step. I kind of like the Vikings as a sleeper in that division. You got Green Bay, and you got to appreciate what's going on up at Detroit. I mean, they have really they bought in to what Dan Campbell's doing up there on from a team standpoint. And that's not going to be easy. So that division is going to be tough. There might not be a premier team, maybe Green Bay, maybe Minnesota, but I'll tell you, the competition in that division is going to be difficult.
Coach, I want to get to some college questions, but I want to ask you one Eagle question here, because obviously our fan base is in Philadelphia here. This is what I say about Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen is in the category of a Colin Kaepernick. And if you're comfortable with that style, you can get to a Super Bowl and you can compete for one. But if you're looking to take advantage of today's NFL rules, pass interference down the field, it's a passing game, targeting rules, don't hit the quarterback, you got to win from the pocket, Coach. And to me, a guy like Hurts, as talented as an athlete, as great a guy you and I have talked about in the past, that's all great. But those are intangibles that's expected at that position when you come into the NFL. To me, at the end of the year, I don't know if I'm not going to be going into the draft or looking at one of these 7 quarterbacks that potentially could be drafted in the first round. How would you look at Jalen and this 22 year going for the Eagles?
Yeah, I think that they have to. I'm going to use the word balanced, because I like the Eagles. I like what they're doing. I love their offensive and defensive line. And I love Jalen Hurts. I mean, you hire him for, I don't care what business you're in, TV, radio, hire him. He's going to make your team better. He's a winner, and he's a class kid. I always judge quarterbacks. So I always looked around the league and said, okay, if I had this kid and we're down by 10 and we need 2 scores to win the game in the fourth quarter with 6-7 minutes to go, can my guy do that? Can he bring us back from being down 10? And that's what has to happen. The Bradys of the world, the Aaron Rodgers, that's, Patrick Mahomes, that's what these guys do. Because you're going to get in that situation. And if you're going to win the big one, you're going to have to come back from being down 10, and you're going to have to make enough plays throwing it around to win a game or two like that. And I'm just not sure if they got that in Philadelphia. I really don't know if they can do that.
I agree with you 100%. Coach, you coached at Southern Cal before you came to Miami. You were there for a couple of years. You know the pedigree there. You know the organization, and you know the program. What's your take on them going to the Big Ten in 3 years?
Well, the first comment would be I was shocked. And I do a TV show, as you know, Danny. But for our listeners, our viewers, every Tuesday on the Big Ten Network. I've been doing that now for 7-8 years. So I'm pretty close with the Big Ten and what's going on there. I was taken back. I was totally shocked. Having coached, like you said, at USC, won a Rose Bowl, beat Ohio State when I was at USC. So I know that USC, UCLA prestige and the tradition with both of those schools. And I'll tell you what, the Big Ten right now, I don't know if they, when you bring a school into your conference, let's use UCLA first. UCLA, you're getting all the sports in that athletic department. And you talk about a class program. Big Ten's all about being academically sound and accountable. They are. I mean, I think they've won 119 team championships. I don't know if anybody's won more in the entire country. I think they're second. They might be tied for first. So you're getting a credible from top to bottom athletic program. And the second one, obviously USC, what do you got to say? From the national championships to Heisman's, it's endless what they're going to bring to the table. I think that I was the national recruiter when I was at USC, and I recruited kids, and we were coming off probation. That first year, we weren't even bowl eligible, the very first year I was there. But I got players out of D.C., Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Dallas, Texas, and just walking in saying, hey, I'm from USC. And we were getting their attention back there. So they're a team a lot like the, Ohio States of the world and Notre Dame's of the world, where you can go anywhere, Alabama's, and walk in and you say, I'm from Southern Cal, and you're going to get the kids' attention. So I think it's a great addition, really, for the Big Ten. I love it. I think it strengthens them in all categories, on the field and off the field. The biggest thing that I see is the whole scheduling thing, because of that with the college kids and the going across the country, and football might not be as bad. We never did it. You know this. If we played and we didn't play much when we were at Miami, but when I was at the Dolphins and we played the Raiders and we played the Seahawks out there, we went out Saturday morning and we kept our same schedule. We got them up. The guys are up at 4 a.m. And so what? Okay. Pretend like it's 11. Okay. We got to play and win this game. So we never did much with the scheduling, where a lot of these NFL coaches, and it'll be real interesting to see, 1-2 days in advance, they want to adjust to the time zones and get into all that. So now you're in college and you have, quote, the academics. That's going to be interesting to see how the Big Ten helps them out with some scheduling so they can be on TV and get them on national TV. And it's not midnight for us guys on the East Coast. That's going to be interesting to see how they work through the scheduling part.
We never had issues with us traveling, except if we were going to cold places. I'll leave that alone there. Coach, I'm going to say this.
When we went to cold places, we just hoped you guys got off the bus. Let's be real, okay? We stood there and just did a head count, okay? We got 50 off this bus and 50 off the other. We got a chance.
Is that snow? Yeah, that's snow, kid. We're all good. Hey, Coach, I say this and why the SEC is the dominant conference. They're like the Premier League today. In college football, it's them and everyone else. I think the Big Ten is right there, but top to bottom, Southeastern Conference. Coach, I came up with this theory, and tell me if you think I'm crazy. It's been 20 years since the University of Miami and Florida State, and really Florida, have been dominant football programs. And to me, what happened was Miami goes to a basketball conference along with Florida State. I don't want to play against Wake Forest. Coach, when we were independent, we played the Oklahomas. We played the South Carolinas. We played Auburns. We played all these programs because we put these big teams on programs because we knew we needed to do that. And to me, it allowed teams like Alabama, LSU to go into the state of Florida and to keep kids regionally instead of having to go across to the Pac-12 or to the Big Ten. And to me, really, it was Miami's the big three. We used to have those three programs in the top 5 every year we were there. They were always in the top 5. But the demise of those programs have opened the door for the SEC and the Florida kids to go to Alabama. Coach, 2 years ago, the entire backfield for the national championship, Alabama team was from South Florida.
Yeah.
Does that play into it, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Everyone says there's a ton of good players in Florida. There always has
Did you
been.
recruit 90%? Did you recruit 90% of the time in the state of Florida, or was it?
Oh, yeah. Jimmy kind of had a deal where we were a 6-hour drive in a car. That was kind of our radius. And then we would go up to New Jersey a little bit because we had some success there with Stubby and some of those guys. And then we would go anywhere for a quarterback. That was really the philosophy that we had. But, the point I was going to say is there has always been the talent in the high schools hasn't dropped off in Florida.
No.
It's just that the Miamis and the Florida States and the Floridas probably aren't getting the best ones. You know what I mean? And that's when you said, Alabama's backfield was all Florida kids. You'd like to think now that that's changing at all these places. I mean, I think all these places right now, that understand that they've got to keep the best players in the state and then go from there. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think I don't know. I mean, the Southeast Conference, I remember sitting in draft meetings and we would have a draft board and we would be trying to decide where we wanted to, how many scouts, territories, kind of like recruiting, and how many scouts we were going to send out west. And we would say, okay, let's just put up there a little dot of the draftable kids over the last few years. And you'd on the whole country, and you'd put this board up there and you'd have all these dots, and that's southeastern, including Florida, it was overloaded. And so we would put an emphasis there with our scouts. So I don't think it's changed. I think the thing that has to change is that Florida State and Miami have to get the best players in the state of Florida. If they can get the best players, which it looks like Mario and they're doing down there, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine.
I got a call from Mario, and by the way, over the weekend, they landed that kid from IMG, that offensive tackle, So I get a text message from him. By the way, he texts me every day, and he goes, "Get The Rock to tweet it. Get The Rock to tweet it." I'm actually liking the fact
I saw that. I saw you. You got it done.
Hey, we did. And guess what? Rock goes like this to me. He goes, so what? He goes, "You think this really matters?" I go, "Did you talk to the grandfather?" And he goes, "Yeah, I talked to the grandfather in Hawaii last week." I go, "Tweet it out." And he did. And the kid signed an hour later. And I'm sitting there and Mario goes, "Dude, and I go, "Hey, let me tell you something. The one thing that Don Solinger, Dave Wannstedt, Butch Davis, and all those guys were, even when you were at Pitt, the guys that you coach, you guys were the greatest freaking recruiters and talent evaluators for college football of all time. Do you ever think of who the talent, all the people you guys have brought into programs that you were associated with? Jimmy, you guys are in Miami. You're fighting Jason Taylor in the 3rd round and Zach in like the 5th round. I mean, these guys are Hall of Fame football players.
I think Aaron Donald had one other offer when I went into a school to recruit him.
So he was recruited like Russell?
Oh, yeah. There you go. He was a Russell, Maryland type of guy. I think he had one other offer. He was a heavyweight wrestler in the state. And obviously, because of his height and everything, these schools got these, measurables is the word.
But you guys like that height.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a great example of that. I mean,
yes,
you guys like that. It never scared you guys.
No, playmakers. Playmakers was the word Jimmy started, and that's kind of when we recruited Aaron Donald. That was exactly what we saw when we recruited Aaron Donald. No question.
You think he's better than Jerome?
Oh boy, I'll tell you what. I've said this. For a defensive tackle, I have never seen a guy make as many plays in the backfield as this. It's almost hard to believe that you can't block him. I mean, and it's run, it's pass. I think he's and Reggie White just destroyed us for years when I was at the Bears and everywhere. And there's a lot of great ones. But I said that, to me, Aaron Donald, and I'm partial.
Did you see that at Pitt, Coach?
I don't think
he was there. Did you see that potential?
Sure. Oh, absolutely, I did. No, heck no. Are you kidding me?
Hey, how did the baseball tournament turn out?
We didn't win. but I'm here in Chicago now, so there's no turning back. So now I get into it, and I got grandsons playing football at Loyola for John Holosack. Oh yeah, I got 6 grandkids up here, so my summer is booked from the
One of the
next 2 months.
greatest cities in the history of America is Chicago. In the summer, as we get towards like November, you might want to start rolling down to Naples, Coach.
You think I paid for this tan I'm wearing, Danny?
Coach, thank you. I love you so much for doing this. Thank you, Coach.
All right, see you, buddy. Anytime.
You got it. Dave Wannstedt. Appreciate that very much. All right, lot of stuff there. Please hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.